What is on, guys? We're racing back over video. Today we are going to be reviewing the F1 2015 Malaysian Grand Prix, the second of 19 rounds from the F1 2015 Championship. And if you guys don't know the result, then please click off the video and go and watch the race if you haven't seen it. Certainly going to go down as one of the best races of the season, I am sure. It was an absolutely cracking race with battles up and down the field. We had inter-teammate battles. We had a fantastic strategy battle for the lead. Although we didn't see too much kind of on-track battling up at the front, we certainly had a kind of strategical masterpiece. I really do love these races. We've had a lot before. Funny enough, also involving Vettel, if you remember back to 2013. I think it's a German Grand Prix around Nürburgring. We have this kind of two-stop, three-stop conundrum, and we always, get an exciting race when this happens. I think we had it in Japan as well, and it always seems to be the two-stopper, but mainly wins you the race. And that's, funny enough, what won Sebastian Vettel the race, taking out 25 points. Doing a really good race to win his first Grand Prix since the 2015 Brazilian Grand Prix. A fantastic way to come back after his worst F1 season ever, being shown up by Daniel Ricciardo. But he's really proven that he is still one of the best drivers, if not the best driver on the the current F1 grid. In my eyes, he's certainly, kind of up there, probably level with, or probably just behind Fernando Alonso. It's really hard to compare, but I think, Vettel, Alonso, Hamilton are certainly the, the top three easily in, Formula 1, certainly at the moment. Second and third then was Hamilton and Rosberg. The two Mercedes will be disappointed with second and third, although it's still 33 points, and for Hamilton, he's only lost 7 points to Vettel. Vettel is 3 points behind him, but Hamilton and Rosberg still have the knowledge that they probably do have the best car. Although Vettel's, Ferrari was quicker on the day, I think at most tracks Mercedes should be supreme, and I think, Hamilton and Mercedes are still the two title favourites. I really can't see that, changing too much. I've been making a video talking about, if Vettel can, challenge the two Mercs over the season, possibly even for the championship. But yeah, so I won't discuss that too much. You guys can let me know down in the comment section below if you guys, think Ferrari could possibly catch Mercedes, and indeed if Vettel could be gone for his 5th World Championship. Kimi Räikkönen was 4th then, after starting 11th and falling to last after a first lap puncture. He drove a brilliant race, and Ferrari put him on a brilliant strategy to get him all the way up to 4th, and pretty comfortably. He was 17 seconds ahead of 5th place man Valtteri Bottas, who beat his teammate Felipe Massa down in who's finished in 6th. It was a good race from the Williams pair, both of them doing a decent job. They really didn't have the pace to beat Ferrari, so 5th and 6th was the best they could have hoped for. Williams really do need to try and improve. Possibly Mercedes will help them out, so Williams can become their raid gunners. Behind them, 7th and 8th, it was Max Verstappen and Carlos Sainz Jr. Verstappen coming out on top of this one after a disappointing Australian Grand Prix. It was a brilliant race, and he becomes the youngest ever point scorer in F1, taking home 6 points and drawing level with Carlos Sainz Jr., who's also on 6 points in the standings after a really good 8th place, a really kind of underrated 8th place. If you remember, he started 15th and got himself all the way up to 8th. That's the most positions gained by anybody in the race, I believe. So yeah, a really great race from Carlos Sainz Jr. and Max Verstappen. Verstappen of course starting 6th, so a lot of his good work was helped by his qualifying performance, and Toro Rosso are going to be very pleased. That's certainly the best I think they could have achieved realistically. Fiat and Ricciardo came 9th and 10th. Fiat managing to get ahead of Ricciardo, probably due to Ricciardo having front wing damage. Of course, Fiat had contact with Hülkenberg, which led to a penalty for Hülkenberg. Yeah, really bad race for Red Bull, being outclassed by their sister team. Really not having the pace to kind of, I suppose they kind of had the pace to kind of match Toro Rosso, but with damage for Ricciardo and contact with Hülkenberg for Fiat. It was really, that's one that kind of slipped away. I think they could have possibly beaten Toro Rosso, and I think over the season they will, but it's certainly a lot closer than it should have been, and, a lot closer than we've probably ever seen it since, of course, 2008, where, of course, largely thanks to just the masterclass of, many Sebastian Vettel drives, Toro Rosso, of course, finished ahead of Red Bull. Finishing outside the points was Grosjean, Nasr, Perez, Hülkenberg and Murray. Yes, Murray in the Manor. Oh, sorry, Merry in the Manor, not Murray. Roberto Merry in the Manor, doing absolutely amazing job. Really happy to see Manor. Although it's a shame they're really far off the pace, like 4 seconds off the next car. It's really nice to see them finishing the race when, others such as McLaren didn't. The two McLarens, along with Lotus of Pastor Maldonado and the Sauber of Marcus Ericsson. Ericsson and Maldonado both having contact. Ericsson just driving clean off the track, a really kind of mistake. You know, his lack of experience really does tell. I think he was just so excited, he was so far up. He got a brilliant start, although he did, I think, push Verstappen, or it might have been Sainz Jr. off the track, I can't remember. It was one of the Tauruses that he pushed off the track, basically. And then, you know, just outbroke himself. I think he was behind Daniel Ricciardo. Might have been wrong there, I'm not sure, but he came into turn 1 just too hot, spun it and ditched it in the gravel. Pastor Maldonado had contact on the first lap, and it was probably something to do with that, but they retired him. They retired him later on, but there's probably just no hope, you know, no point continuing on. Same with the McLarens, Alonso having a turbo failure and Button having an ERS failure. Really awful day for McLaren. Although, you know, it was better in Australia, I suppose, in terms of pace. Of course, you know, they failed to finish, whereas, you know, of course, in Australia, Button did. So yeah, Felipe Nasr then not showing the pace you saw in Australia, possibly hurt by, you know, not running an FP1. We'll have to see. I hope he's going to be coming back strong in China. Ericsson had the better of him all weekend. At the end of the day, Nasr's the one that got the Sauber to the finish, and you know, Marcus Ericsson, you know, didn't. Nasr though did have a bit of clumsy contact with Raikkonen. He just ran into the back of him. A typical kind of rookie error. So you know, we can't take away, you know, read into that too much. I think, you know, it was just kind of a clumsy mistake. We kind of expect to see, you know, possibly just getting a bit excited, but not the best thing to run into your, you know, kind of customer team. So the factory team, you know, for the customer team to run into the factory team. It's a bit like Tauros running into Red Bull, basically. Yeah, I think Sauber, you know, are definitely going to get closer to Ferrari over the year. They've probably got a really strong relationship now. The engine is really good, and also, you know, they put Marcelo in the car for FP1, and he's a reserve driver for the season. Isn't he just nailed down for 2016 season? Is it just me, or thinks, you know, Marcelo and Nasr are already guaranteed for 2016? I think Marcus Ericsson already knows this is the last year. He's just got to enjoy it, try and prove himself, and maybe, you know, the likes of maybe Lotus or another team will, you know, pick him up. Perez and Hulkenberg then, really awful race for them, penalties for both of them. Perez on Romain Grosjean, I think that was definitely a penalty for Perez. You know, he should have just really backed out of that one. It was only going to end in contact. You could just tell Nico Hulkenberg's finger out was a bit marginal, to be honest. I wouldn't have given a penalty. But yeah, the stewards did, and it kind of ruined Hulkenberg's race. But I don't think either of them are really going to score points anyway. The Force India is so far off the pace due to them, you know, getting a new wind tunnel, and all the data from that hasn't yet been transferred over to the car. So I wouldn't expect until maybe about midway through the season for Force India to actually be, you know, with a chance of actually scoring points. We could actually see them not score any points for quite a long time. They'll probably pick up a couple here and now, but I wouldn't expect any kind of really strong 6th or 7th place, which we've seen for them in the past couple of years, until they get, you know, a quicker car, possibly towards the end of the year. I think they're really building for next year, you know, possibly with a new driver lineup. You know, will Nico Hulkenberg and Sergio Perez, you know, still be here next year in Part C? As I said, I'm making plenty of discussion videos over the next few days, to be sure to, you know, participate in the discussion on those videos. So yeah, and then the race rating for me was a solid 9, brilliant race, the best we've seen probably since Bahrain 2014. It was definitely up there with Canada and Hungary. Definitely, I think it's going to be one of, if not the best race of 2015. We'll have to see. I hope it's not. I hope we get an even better race, but you know, we'll have to see. Verstappen, Vettel and Raikkonen are my kind of free drivers of the day. You guys can let me know who impressed you today. What are your expectations for China? Really looking forward to it. Probably not as going to be good as China, but hopefully it will be a lot better than Australia. See you guys next time, and goodbye.